Baby, you know, I want to talk about our first date because there's something I really want to tell you about. It's actually a really weird story because well, it's such a weird thing. You remember when we went out on the first date? I asked you out to go to the movies. Then before we went to the movies, I actually went to buy the tickets first. You saw me going back to the restaurant like all happy and all smiling. It's no offense. It's not just because of you, but because something happened during the premiere, during when the time I had to buy the tickets. So here's what happened. When I went to the what do you call it, like the cashier or some sort, I asked her about this. Like, 2 tickets for this movie, please. I don't remember what movie we watched. It was a Parasite or something. I don't know, something like that. But never mind the details. I asked for 2 seats, and everything went well. So it was time for me to pay the tickets. So I did. I pulled out my debit card, and I gave it to the cashier, and the cashier says card declined. At first I didn't panic because I remembered I still have like a few dollars enough to pay for the tickets and also the food. So I told the cashier there must be something wrong, so could you please try again? And so she tried again, and the second time card declined. At that moment, I started to panic. I was absolutely terrified because there's a line starting to build up behind me, and I got no money at all. And I can't say to the woman, can I reserve first? Because that's just against the rules. So, sticking to my guns, sticking to my belief, I thought that, well, because I remember that I still have a few dollars, like a 10 or 20 bucks inside my debit card. I might as well try it one more time. Maybe there was an error. Maybe there was something wrong with that. Because if I try to rely on other people, and if I try to rely on you, it will just be horrible. If I ask the person behind me, it would just be, And if I ask you, well, you probably feel like, what the fuck is this guy asking me out for if you don't even have the money to pay for it? And I know you don't really is the type who likes me paying for all this stuff, but I gotta be honest with you. At that moment, I had to stick to my guns. I had to stick to my belief that I still have that 20 bucks in me. So, I said to the cashier one last time, hey, could you please try again? I didn't say the A part. And then she tried. I input my pin in, and then the cashier looked at me for the final time to smile and says, the card's approved. And it was such a crazy moment because I was absolutely mental at that time. I tried to hide my smile, and the smile from the cashier was so contagious too, because it was such a very weird moment that it actually worked. Because it was such an impossible, Mission Impossible type of scenario. So, when I got home from the date, I asked my dad what the hell happened, and it turns out my dad actually used my debit card a few days ago, and it ran out of funds. And so when my dad heard that I was going out, my dad immediately went to the nearest ATM because my dad's just a boomer and he doesn't really understand what banking does. So he just went out to this ATM and he just started to transfer all the money. And when he finally transferred the money, it was at the perfect time, absolutely perfect time, that I put in the card and just it was such a crazy moment. It was such a Mission Impossible moment. It's the type of story that I could bravely tell to everyone because it was such an amazing moment. And my dad can vouch for that moment too if you don't believe me, because it's such a, I mean, there is a reason why I'm all really confident. You remember when I met you before I asked you, I was always that awkward, but when the time comes for me to come to the date, I was this confident. It's because of that moment. It just felt like my self-belief and my persistence of being dumb actually saved me for this one time. And that just gave me this confidence to just go all out, you know? I don't know why I'm all excited just because I'm telling this Mission Impossible type of story. But, you know, things like this happen, so God bless. Jeez. I've got so many lucky stories like that, but I just want to tell you that relates to you, like on the Mission Impossible type of stuff. Like, you just can't make that shit up. Seriously, it's just, now you know why I'm all excited during that time. Now you understand why I was so different than I was before. It's because of that moment. It was just epic. So yeah, I think that's all that I wanted to say, babe. You can continue on your work because I just got that on my mind. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I love you, baby. Girl, you're so sweet. I love you. Be a good girl for me, okay?